It's national game. Two teams fight over the carcass of a headless goat. They have to grab it, gallop free of everyone else, and then drop it in a chalked circle. I found myself sitting next to Babrak Murzai, a young economist. Buskashi has a wide range of fans.
And mostly in this region, especially in the north, people are like the horses, riding the horses. That's the reason that they like it so much.
Some Afghans tell me they'd like buskashi to be an Olympic sport.
Everything is possible. If it's a part of Olympics, then Afghan will like that very much.
But that would mean countries all over the world would have to play it. Do you think they would?
Maybe they might bring slight changes or slight corrections.
Buskashi used to have hundreds of riders, no teams, no written rules. It's a bit more organized now, but some still call it the world's wildest game. It's not a sport for women, although Western women are given the status of special guests.
You know, I came to the first buskashi game right to this very place more than 20 years ago, when the communists were ruling Afghanistan. Do you think it's changed at all?
The games are not changing, and it's the same game. Maybe only the regime has changed.
Buskashi used to be the game of choice for rival warlords. The rich own the horses, they host the match. Today's teams are sponsored by big business, but it doesn't change the spirit.
It sounds like an Afghan election. One team said they won, and then the other team came and said, no, they didn't win, it's fraudulent. They didn't go all the way to the end of the field.
The disputes raged. One team declared a boycott. I decided it was time for me to go too.
چې ماشومان چې د نظریاتي تور باندې او د عقیدې په تور باندې چې د هغه جوړ شي اصلاح کړی شي د هغې نه وروسته چې د هغه ته عسکري تربیت هم ورکړی شي چې د لارې سره منسلک او اخري راتلونکي نسلونه زمونږ د کار چې دی نو هغه پاتې نه کړی شي هغه چې دی نو دوامداره طریقه باندې روان وي.
شما میخواین که طفلان سالار یاد بگیره و برای جنگ کنه؟
بالکل یې غواړو ځکه دا ناشنا خبره نه ده، بلکې موږ تاسو ته د اسلافو سیرت او د هغو تاریخ چې دی کتل پکار دي. صحابه کرام چې دی هغې به د یو بل نه مخکې کېدل، نو دا شوق او دغه جذبه او دغه ولوله چې دی نو اوسه پورې زموږ ماشومانو کې هم ده، دارنګې زنانو کې هم ده. د وخت په راتلو سره به چې دی نو دا موږ امت ته وښیو چې په موږ کې کوم صلاحیتونه دي موږ د الله تعالی د دین لپاره او د هغې د قربانۍ د ورکولو لپاره تیار یو په هر وخت کې.
The Arabic-speaking cell leader, Abu Rashid, says ISIL's expansion into Afghanistan has attracted jihadis from across the world.
In Afghanistan, Ben Solomon was in Kandahar just before that city was seized, riding with Afghan forces in full retreat. Ben is here to talk about how the country's fall happened in just weeks. Plus, Hind Hassan saw firsthand what could lie in Afghanistan's future when she and her team snuck themselves into Taliban-controlled territory earlier this year. Tonight, what she learned on the ground. And it's hard to dream up a...
The hardline Islamist group that ruled over Afghanistan had sheltered al-Qaeda and its leader, Osama bin Laden. Nearly 20 years later, the conflict has achieved very little. It's a country in ruin. The Taliban still controls much of it. And the war is showing no signs of slowing down.
So levels of violence are enormous. In 2018, 25,000 people died in Afghanistan.
So what has made America's war in Afghanistan unwinnable? Afghanistan has been mired in conflict for over 40 years. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded the country to support the Afghan communist regime. In response, America funded Mujahideen rebels to fight the Soviet forces as part of an American proxy war. In 1989, Soviet forces withdrew from Afghanistan, which sparked years of infighting among tribal warlords. The chaos created fertile ground for the Taliban to grab power, and in 1996 they took control of Kabul, Afghanistan's capital, and established themselves as the government in much of the country. 3 years after the American invasion in 2001, democratic elections were held in the country. But neither military reinforcement nor peace talks have ended the fighting.
So every president in their own way has tried to win the war in Afghanistan. They've put troops in, they've taken troops out. None of them have really managed to fundamentally change the
Chaos, a staggering collapse. The Taliban have taken Afghanistan. Ben Solomon was in Kandahar just before that city was seized, riding with...
Motherfucking piece of shit! I don't know.
Keep coming. Good hit. Did get you? Yeah.
Well, they came to see my shelter thoroughly. They went through it. Not only one group, but many different groups of Taliban came and looked at it, looked at our work, looked at our everything, and then finally, and they left and they kind of let us be and continuing being, because I do have a responsibility towards these girls and these women. And the gender violence is still going on in the houses and the families in the villages. But the only thing that has changed from then is that those women, they know that the second they leave their houses, if they do, they're going to be taken, and sent in prison. And that will be the end of it, because nobody's going to look after their cases, nobody's going to look after them, nor protect them like the way the shelters were doing it. So no woman wants to go through that.